Hey guys, happy Sabbath. It is Saturday, September the 10th, 2022, and it's really early in the morning, but I wanted to make this video to encourage you guys. I had a reminder of something that happened a few years back. I'm going to title this Divine Appointments because I really believe that's what this was. And I'm going to share also another story that happened with my son and his wife most recently. So what I want to share with you that I was reminded of was a situation where I guess it's been a 2017 or so when this happened, and our twins were in high school, and we had gotten them this little sports car, and we didn't really think that through very well. They were both on the golf team, and the sports car had no trunk space, so they needed trunk space for their golf clubs, and they ended up taking over my vehicle, and I started driving their little sports car. Now, I'm not a sports car person, and this is not my style, and it probably looked like I was having some kind of midlife crisis or something. But that's the car I ended up driving. So my husband and I had taken that car with us one evening over to visit the in-laws and have dinner with them and visit for a while. And so on our way back home, it was about 10:30, it was late at night. We were on our way home, and I asked my husband to stop at a rest stop so that I could go into the restroom. And so I got out of the car, and I walked past a couple of security officers that were sitting on a bench outside, and I went in, and when I came back out, they were still sitting there, and the older security officer piped up and said, hey, what kind of car is that? My buddy and I were here talking. We can't figure out what kind of car it is. And I told him what it was, and he said, well, I know cars pretty well. I didn't know they made a sports car like that. And so I just felt prompted to say the following. I said, well, here's something else you may not know, or maybe you do, but Jesus is coming soon. Look up and be ready. Well, that older security officer got all excited, and he looked at that younger security guard there with him, and he said, I've been telling you, Jesus is coming. I knew it, And that young security officer is just looking at me like, what is happening? So the older officer and I got a chance to just fellowship for a moment, and we talked, and, I just shared with him that, yeah, he's certainly coming, and we need to be ready and have that personal relationship with him. And this was pre-COVID. I mean, I don't remember. I've told people for years Jesus was coming, and they just would look at me like I was crazy. Nowadays, you can tell them, and they pretty much have an idea because the world is just upside down. But back then, it was like, the older man said, that he had not had anyone just randomly come up and say that. He'd been saying it for years. And he shared that he was a pastor at a local church, and that this was his second job, and he'd been saying that Jesus was coming for years, but I was the first random person to just come right up and come right out with it. And so I blessed him and told him to have a good night, and I went to the car, and as I did, I could hear the older officer telling the younger security officer, he said, I know you get tired of me saying that all the time when we work here together, but I just hope that you saw that as confirmation that Jesus really is coming. And so I don't know what happened with that younger security officer. Maybe he thought that old man was crazy, or thought we were both crazy. But perhaps he saw that as some confirmation. And I don't know, what the Father did with that, but it had to have made some kind of impact. I know it did with the older security officer. He got all excited. So I believe that was a divine appointment. I do. I think that there's some reason why we had that exchange. When we did, we were the only ones there at the rest stop. And so I'm not sharing this to say I'm doing anything right. I just speak what comes to my mind and ask the Father to use it and bless it. So I hope that was confirmation for that young security officer. And I know it blessed that older man, and it blessed me to have that exchange. So I just wanted to share that to encourage any of you out there that feel like, you're concerned with the reaction you'll get or what people might think of you, but just be bold, speak the truth. And don't worry about their reaction. Sometimes their reaction will surprise you. It did for me that night. So I want to share this other story too, and I just love how this story played out. It's just another maybe idea that you can use as you go about your day. But my oldest son Noah, is married, and he and his wife are two very spirit-filled Christian people. I say Christian, but they are disciples of Yahushua, and they love him, and they love to share his truth with everyone they encounter. And I'm blessed that the Father has blessed me with children that love to share the love of Yeshua with others. Well, this happened, I don't know, probably a year or two ago. My son was working in a fast food place here in our local area, and his wife came through to get supper for them. And my son was at the drive-thru, and when she came through, she went to pay for the order, and he said, "Yeah, don't worry about it, I got it covered." And so she said, "Well, I've got my money out already, so why don't I just pay for the guy behind me, and then his meal is covered too." So Noah thought that was a great idea, and she paid for his order, and it was like $12. It wasn't much. So she went ahead and left, and the man pulled up and went to pay for his order, and Noah told him that his order had already been paid for by the car in front of him, and that Jesus loves him. And that man was so impressed by that, and he said, "You know what, that's a great idea. I want to do that for the car behind me." And so they looked, and there wasn't a car behind him at the time. And so Noah had an opportunity then just to share with him the love of Yeshua, tell him that Jesus loves him, that he's coming back, and that we need to be ready, and we need to have a personal relationship with him. And that man and Noah got a chance to just talk for a while they were waiting on another car. And that man shared a little bit of his testimony with Noah, and it was just a great little opportunity there. Well, finally, a second car did pull up, or third, I guess now. Another car pulled up and placed an order, and it was this older woman. And so the man sitting there at the window could hear the order being placed, and it turns out the order was for like $80. That man was like, "Wow." He said, I didn't expect it to be that much, but I said I'd do it. So I guess I'll do it. So he gave Noah his credit card, and Noah paid. And that man went ahead and left. Well, the older lady that had placed that large order drove on around to the window, and she went to pay for her order, and as she did, she said, "I hope there's room on my card to cover this." And Noah told her, "Don't worry about it. The person in front of you's paid for your order, and that Jesus loves you." And that woman started crying, and she said, "Oh my goodness, I have been praying and asking the Father for some help. I've taken some people in that are in need, and I've been trying to provide for them, but it's taken every penny I've got, and I was hoping I'd have room on this card to pay for this order, but I'd been praying, and God answered that prayer." And she was so moved. Now, the guy that had paid for her, he had already left. He had no idea that he was an answer to her prayer. And my daughter-in-law had no idea when she paid it forward that ripple effect would be put into place, that the Father could use to bless that woman and be an answer to prayer. It's just amazing to me how he does these things that seem so random and yet so amazing at the same time. Well, it was funny, the next day Noah goes back to work, and the manager comes up to him and says, "Did something happen at the drive-through window yesterday when you were there that you didn't tell me about?" And Noah was kind of caught off guard by the question, and he was like, "Well, yeah, my wife came through, and I took care of her order, and so she decided to pay for the car behind her, and then he decided to pay for the car behind him, and it was just this kind of pay it forward scenario that played out, and I didn't think to mention it to you." And the manager said, "Well, the reason I asked is because the guy that was there at the window yesterday posted a comment to Facebook and told everybody that subscribes or follows him to come here and get something to eat at our establishment because it's really good food, and apparently there's an angel that works at the drive-thru." I just love that. So Noah got a chance to, just talk to the manager about what the father had done and how amazing it was and how it was an answer to prayer. And also, just to mention, his manager was Muslim, and my son had been trying to witness to him. And so it was a great opportunity to share with his manager just, how good the Father is to us, and how much Yeshua takes care of his own and provides for these amazing stories and these encounters like this, these divine appointments. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and encourage you that as you go about your day, as you're going out and doing whatever it is you do, just try to think of ways that you can just share the love of Yeshua with others and just show them that he's invested in their lives. He loves them. He's there. He knows that what they need. And you might even be a confirmation for someone that's been trying to wonder, if Jesus really is coming. And, they see things in the world that are happening and they're not sure if what it means or what it's all leading to, but you can be that confirmation for them. And so I just want to share this with you guys and encourage you. This isn't about trying to say we're doing anything right. It's just that we've made ourselves available for the Father to use, and we just go with what he puts in our heart to do. And I know I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but you guys go be the light. I'm sure many of you already do this sort of thing, but it's just encouraging to see a positive reaction from people that are needing that answer to prayer, and they need that encouragement, and they need that confirmation, right? And just watch what that ripple effect will do. Some things we're never going to know this side of life, but go and be that light, and don't worry about the reaction people might give you, right? We're only to share the truth, and we're not responsible for how they react to it. But sometimes that reaction that you get will bless you as well. So you all go and have a great Sabbath and just be blessed and encouraged. You all have a great evening, great day.